Radio, redefined.
Hi everyone, Sammy Figueroa here. This is Social Music here on 88.9 FM, WDNA, WDNA.org. On your web, if you're streaming this show anywhere on this planet, saludos a todos, greetings to everyone, and welcome to my show. Today, I have a very special show, and I have a guest here on the show of someone who, to me, is a Renaissance man, and we've known each other for quite a while.
Oh boy!
And I am honored to have this gentleman who is not only a musician but a comedian, an actor, a painter, an artist, and we'll get to a lot of things with the great Mambo Baumel here on my show today. I know that there are a lot of people tuning into the show, and there's probably questions that you're going to want to ask by email and all that. So please do. We have on my show the great Mambo Baumel right here, 99 years old. And he makes me feel like a youngster, and this gentleman is doing it all right now, even now.
And I don't look a day over 98.
Welcome to the show, Ray. Thank you for coming. Thank
Are
you.
you kidding, Sammy?
Oh, man, I am honored.
You
to
have no.
you.
I am honored. You have no idea, because I've been listening to your show since I was a youngster of 81,
Wow.
and I never missed the show.
Oh,
You know,
thank
unless
you.
I had maybe a doctor's appointment. But even then, I had a doctor's appointment one time.
Right.
And I had my AirPods on.
You had AirPods.
Yeah,
on.
I was listening in the waiting room
Oh
to
my God.
the Sammy Figueroa show. So, you know, we've got a lot in common.
Yes,
First of all, we're both New Yorkers.
that's right. That's
However, unfortunately, you're from the Bronx.
Right.
I'm from Brooklyn, born and raised in Coney
Well,
Island.
the Brooklyn Dodgers came from there, right?
Oh, that
Yeah,
in those days, you
Yeah,
know.
yeah.
So I was born and raised in Coney Island.
There you go.
And also we have a lot in common, tocando batería con los manos, you know.
Yeah.
I'm not putting myself in the same category as you, but I was a bongo player.
Wow.
And,
Wow.
and of course, in the days where I had to get goat skin,
Wow.
you know, I went to the Coliseum here on my, in Miami, because the pelotas were made of goat skin. That's where I used to buy my
Wow.
goat skin for the ball.
And they were so hard to put on that.
You had to nail it in,
You had to
stretch
nail
it,
in.
and
Oh
and
my
all
God.
that.
You had to wet it. You had to do the whole thing.
Oh wow!
It was an incredible process to do that. Ray, where were you born?
I was born in Coney Island.
In Coney Island, New
What a
York.
place for a kid to be born in 1925.
Wow. Oh my God.
It was one big amusement park in a sense,
Wow.
and also I was born into music
Right.
because my parents loved music. They had they loved my mother loved opera, Rosa Pansel, Lily Pons, and my dad loved the violin. He was a frustrated fiddle player.
Oh
So my
God.
brother,
Classical music, I'm assuming.
classical
right?
music.
Yeah.
My brother at age 4 was picking recordings off the shelf, and he would say PPAs because he couldn't pronounce gypsy airs. He knew from the labels what he wanted. You know, he couldn't read. I mean, he was a 4-year-old.
Yeah, yeah.
Ended up as the fiddler on the roof,
Oh my God.
as the concertmaster and assistant conductor.
That's amazing.
Yeah, ended up in Curtis Institute, and
Wow.
a colleague of Lenny Bernstein. You know.
What a trajectory, man. Wow.
Yeah, so that's a long answer to a short question. So.
Yes, yes, yes. And how about your musical career, Ray? In terms of besides the classical music, where did the combo came in? Where? In other words, where did the Latin? Did you get bitten by the Latin?
Oh my God! When I came here, I was 13. Came here with my parents.
To Miami.
Just fell in love with everything
Yeah.
Latin.
Yeah.
I mean, the music, the food, the girls.
You were bitten by the bug. Yes.
And the first bongos I had, I made out of Quaker oats. I turned them upside down, tied them with a string.
Oh
Because we
my.
couldn't afford a bongo, you know.
Right, right.
That was my bongo.
That's how you built them?
Yeah,
Oh.
that was just plain. And then my dad one day, they had no money. He came here with $200 in his pocket, life saving, you know. And he bought me some bongo. But in those days, no keys. You know,
No, you couldn't tune them.
no. So, and then actually, I was working because all musicians during the World War II, they were all drafted. So here I am, a kid in high school, playing bongos for kicks, okay? And I get a
Wow.
call and they say, listen, you want to work the weekend on bongo? Oh my God, I mean, can you imagine what that was like for a kid?
Oh,
And
my. How old were you at that time?
15, 16.
Wow.
I spoke, yo hablaba mejor el español a la edad de 15 años.
Wow.
Que yo estoy hablando ahora. And of course, when I was working with, Puerto Ricanos and Tampeños and Cubanos talking every night. But, so you asked me about the band, and it was the cuarteto. It was dos maraca, bongo y cuatro voces.
Wow.
And playing behind the bar at the Latin Room in the Pan American Hotel in downtown Miami.
Wow.
And,
That's incredible.
Behind the bar, and no dancing.
No dancing.
Well, people came and listened.
Wow.
Big article in the Miami Herald, Ray Mambo's Rumba Magic. I kind of just throw in, I had no intention of becoming a musician. I loved music.
Right.
But I was all set up in my early years to go study murals in Mexico.
You were painting.
Oh, that was it. I painted 2 murals for the Miami Beach Senior High, 2 4-foot by 10-foot canvas murals painted in oils, because I had never painted with oils before. And one of them was hanging in the Miami Beach post office.
Does that still exist?
Miami
murals?
Beach.
The murals.
I have been searching forever.
Really?
Yeah, and it's probably sitting in a warehouse somewhere.
Right.
They were done in 1941.
Ooh, I would.
Doris Reno
I would
was-
love to see those murals.
I would love to see. Can you imagine what a visual that would be of a
my God.
99-year-old fart standing next to a mural that he painted when he was 16, 17, 18, I forget. So, yeah, so that was the evolution.
So it was like a blessed accident that you got into the whole music scene.
Well, what happened, I was going to art school in Fort Wayne, Indiana, only because my brother was a conductor of the Fort Wayne Philharmonic. So he said, come on up here, it's a good school. And I said, okay. And I came naturally home to Miami Beach. And I sat in with, 3 guys who had a little trio just playing, and I was sitting there.
Right.
And I saw an ad in the Miami Herald, said wanted strings. So I said, okay, we're strings, we auditioned. Anyway, he hired us for the weekend. And he said, what's your name? And I said, Marvin Baumel. Yeah, we can't use that. I need a Latin name. So the Mambo
That's where the Mambo came in.
The Mambo was just breaking. I had a recording of Machito, El Rey del Mambo.
El Rey del Mambo.
So I
That's a classic.
said, Ray. He said, Ray what? I said, Ray Mambo.
He
And
liked
that
that
was
one.
it. And I
Wow.
figured for a weekend, what the hell, I'm going back to art school. So little did I know, it would be 15 years
Wow.
of Ray Mambo.
So where did the Kaki Caballeros came?
that
Was
came
that the
in
band?
the Army.
That was in the army.
What a fortune. I was drafted during World War II, expecting to go overseas any day.
Right.
And they ask you what you did in civilian life. And I said, I was a drummer. And he said, oh, we'll put you with the band. I said, well, one thing. I don't play with sticks.
Ah,
So they put me in SSTG, Special Service Training Group, where anybody who was in entertainment or sports would go through that outfit.
I see.
So
Gotcha.
I was in that outfit that had Irving Fields, I don't know if you remember that name, who wrote Managua, Nicaragua, at Miami Beach Rumba. He was in my barracks. They had a rumba band, they had a drama group, they had a symphonette, they had an ensemble, they had Leonard Warren, who later was a Metropolitan Opera star. So Bojack was a lightweight champ, I think, something. And of course, he could not stay in our outfit because it was segregated.
Wow.
So anyway, out of that, I happened to join the Khaki Caballeros.
Wow, I love that name.
And that was one of 3 War Department shows.
Wow.
Yeah, and we toured the United States playing at hospitals for wounded soldiers. And, you know, imagine I was 18, 19 to go through the wards and see. And also, I remember Kellogg Hospital was a hospital of amputees.
Wow.
You know, tough stuff. Tough stuff.
Wow. So the Mambonics were there in that
Mambonics.
The Mambonics. The Mambonics was at that same period.
Oh no.
No, that came afterwards?
Oh, Mambonics just came recently. Mambonics, you mean the film, the documentary?
Yes, the documentary.
Yeah.
That was after. That was
way after.
That was way after.
Yeah.
So Josephine Baker was way before.
Josephine Baker was in 51, and the only reason I remember the exact date was that my dear friend Ray Fisher, who was the prime photographer for Miami Herald, took the photo. So I have a photo of me, I was a percussionist, and I have a photo of me, Josephine Baker on stage, and me playing the bongos.
Wow.
And she asked me to tour.
She asked you to tour?
Yeah, but I couldn't because I had a contract coming up with the band.
Oh.
So she got another drummer, Buddy something, Buddy Rich.
It was the great Buddy Rich?
Yeah.
Oh
yeah.
my God.
So he toured with her, and
Wow.
she was down.
And he was a young man at that time,
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
Yeah.
So was I. So was everybody.
Yeah, both of you, yeah. Yeah.
So was the whole world.
Wow.
Speaking of Josephine Baker, they declared finally a Josephine Baker Day in November here on Miami Beach.
Oh, I didn't.
Yeah,
I wasn't
and
aware
I
of that.
tried reaching them only to contribute what my experience with her. It was
Wow.
fabulous.
She was an incredible woman, wasn't she?
Not only that, what she did, for children, and she was an activist in many ways. And,
Yeah.
and
She was one of the great
Yeah.
heroes,
So here I go again with long answers. So just stop me. Just jump in.
No. This is just so fascinating because there's so many questions in between this, because you were in the Khaki Caballeros. The Mambonics came way later.
Way
you
later,
said.
yeah.
That was way later.
That was Lex Gillespie was a filmmaker.
Yes.
He, I think he did a whole lot of shaking going on my documentary.
Elvis
about-
Presley. Yeah.
And did this, just finished a documentary about the Catskills.
Oh.
Yeah.
Wow.
But let me just add here also, when I had the band in the 50s, I worked constantly. Fortunate, well, not constantly, there were times where I was laid off. But the music, the base of the music was in New York, without a doubt. I mean, that's where it was.
Of course.
The biggies, Tito Puente, Tito Rodriguez, Machito. And like I always say, the Jewish people had to have, they came down for the winter to Miami Beach, and so they had to have their Latin music and Chinese food. So the bands in the hotels, well, almost every hotel that had a band was a Latin band. That was
Wow.
the main band. And the relief band, the alternate band was an American band playing American music. The only big I'm not talking about shows, the big shows,
Right.
like at the Fontainebleau or all, show bands primarily. But Circassians, who had a terrific band, played typical Latin music. He had a band about 15, maybe 16 pieces, and opened the brand new hotels. And he also played the top acts that came down.
Right. Right.
Patti Page and Sinatra and the works.
Wow. And a lot of the, besides the Latin women, dancers, the Jewish dancers, the Jewish girls were outrageous. They were like the Latinas.
Well, that's what the Mambo mix is all about. It's
yeah.
about the Mambo dance in New York.
And the Jewish community.
Yeah, and I got a little piece in there in the film.
Amazing. Yeah, I met some of the dancers from way back. I met one of them that was 91, and she passed away a couple of years ago. And she was living here in Florida, and she was an amazing, amazing dancer. Another thing I want to talk to you about.
I'm sorry about that. It was spam.
That was spam.
And I couldn't. I didn't see it on my watch. I would have stopped it on my watch.
Well, that's the great thing about being live.
Right.
It's like the old Steve Allen show. Remember what happened at that moment?
Yeah,
right.
All those live shows.
You remember those live shows?
That was the essence. We loved
Steve Allen, Ernie Kovacs,
Edie Adams.
Edie Adams, his wife. That was one of the first shows I saw that was comedic, that was way ahead of his time. It was the Ernie Kovacs show.
Oh, he was so funny. With the cigar and
with the cigar and in the bathtub with the confetti. It was.
Edie Adams. You mentioned her first husband was Marty Mills.
That's right. I remember.
Mills Publishing. The reason I mentioned that, Marty Mills heard us at a Playboy Club. Now I'm talking stand-up comedy.
Right.
So this is the segue, folks.
But this is the segue because that was my next question.
Oh, go ahead.
And my next question was, where did the humor comedic part come in? How did that come into
when
your
I
life?
was born.
Oh, okay. There you go. Well,
I think I.
But when did you decide I'm going to be a stand-up comedian?
I didn't decide.
It just happened. It was something that
No,
just
at the
happened.
Seville Hotel, they had a thing called the Footlighters Luncheon.
What year was that? You remember?
That had to be in late 50s.
In late 50s.
And it was a luncheon packed with businessmen. And anybody who was top name in show business would be at the head table.
Wow.
And there was an empty chair. Somebody didn't show up. So Eddie Schaefer, who was a great comedian.
Not related to Paul Schaefer, I guess. No, I don't think so.
And he got up, and he came over to me. I was sitting in the audience, and he said, "Come on up on the dais and sit in the chair." I said, "Don't ask me to say anything because Phil Foster, the comedian, was there. Frankie Fontaine, top comics." And he said, "No, you got to fill. There's an empty chair." Well, guess what? So he says, "Oh, we have somebody here," and he introduced me. I'm not going to go into detail.
Right.
Sammy Davis Jr. was sitting at the table.
Oh, my Lord.
And I did a shtick about Sammy Davis Jr., which I can't repeat.
Right. While he was there.
Yeah. And the audience was in hysterics. And I turned, his chair was empty. And I thought he was coming to get me. And I looked, and the audience couldn't see him because the table was draped. He's lying on his back, kicking his feet,
Laughing.
in hysterics. And he came up to me and he wanted to know where I was doing comedy. I said, "I'm not. I'm the band leader here at the hotel." He said, "You've got to get into comedy." He says, "You're a natural." And that was what kickstarted me, really.
How long did you do it?
How long?
How long did you do comedy, stand-up, after that?
Oh, well, that I did the Playboy clubs.
You mean the Hugh Hefner?
Yeah, Chicago Club, New Orleans, all Cincinnati, St. Louis, and all that. I was teamed up with a singer, Dick Sterling, who was an excellent singer. And that was the age of comedy teams, you know, Martin Lewis and the worst.
Right.
So we worked the Playboy clubs. In fact, just getting back to Marty Mills, heard us at the Playboy Club and said, "You got to go on the Carson show, you guys. You're wonderful." He got us on the Carson show, but we never got on the show. We got as far as the green room.
You never got on the show
No,
itself.
we were sitting there. We were introduced by Carson.
Wow.
Tonight's show is Sterling and Barbell and Buddy Hackett. Well, Buddy Hackett,
He made it.
he took up all our time.
Yeah.
Johnny Carson says at the end, "Well, I'm sorry, you know, we didn't have time for Sterling and Barbell. We'll have them back." Forget about it.
It never happened.
Never happened. No.
Oh my God. Oh, that would have been great.
Oh my God, yes.
You know,
Yeah.
because what can I say about Johnny Carson? I
Ah.
mean, he was the president of television at that time.
Without a doubt.
And even today, with all the talent that there is, there was only one Johnny Carson, and there will never be that again.
No.
You know, that just happened once, and
Well, Jack Parr was great.
Jack Parr was before him.
Yeah.
And I love Jack Parr. He was such
I
a
did
brilliant
too,
guy.
and in a different way. He was
Absolutely. He was so elegant and eloquent in the way he spoke, and I just loved him. I was a big fan of Jack Parr when I was a kid.
Oh yeah.
You know. So, how long did comedy last? It lasted a few years.
Well, the Playboy clubs, I think, I'm not sure. Let me boot up my iPad.
Yeah.
Are you impressed, folks? With this? Oh, I don't have it here.
Yeah.
That's weird.
Well,
What happened was, as a result of that, I ended up doing comedy, a very unusual comedy.
was that in the years when George Carlin was just starting? and
Yeah,
all
we
that?
followed George Carlin.
You
to
did.
Chicago.
I had a feeling. Yeah.
But he was with a team,
Yeah.
Burns and Carlin.
Yeah. Right.
And
That's
not
right.
doing any of what he was later known for.
Right.
He's
right.
my idol.
Oh,
He's,
brilliant.
To
Total
this
brilliant.
day, he's my idol.
Me
But
too.
what I ended up doing was the genuine, authentic fake. Thanks to Dick Shack, who was my agent, who, by the way, was also the agent for Anita Bryant.
Wow.
Sorry about that, folks. And he said, "I want you to do your stick at the insurance convention." You know, and he said, "Don't do more than 15 minutes." I couldn't do more. I couldn't get more together than 12 minutes.
Wow.
And I was introduced as the Dr. Marcelino Gonzalez, the president of the CIA, the
Oh,
Cuban, the Cuban Insurance Agency, better known as the CIA. So, you know, just kidding around. Anyway, I ended up doing nothing but corporations
Wow. Big
for
corporate. Big
over
corporate.
35 years.
Unbelievable.
And,
Well, that was good
well, thanks to somebody who
in terms of the
who
economics.
heard me, got me, and got me on the front page of the Wall Street Journal.
Wow.
And the A-head column. The A-head column is the column that when the papers are folded and they're stacked, you can see the A-head column.
Really?
Yeah, so that's why they call it the A-head.
Hey, Ray, we're going to take a short little pause.
Okay.
And when we come back, we're going to listen to a few tunes. Because your wife was the lead singer on some of these tunes that you sent me.
Right.
We're going to be right back, everyone. Stay with me. Don't go away.